now we come to a whistleblower who came out a long time ago and gave the internet and the UFO community some of the most interesting testimony and footage, video footage, that has ever been released. And the man's name was actually a pseudonym. We don't know who this man was, but he came out with the pseudonym alias Victor in 1997. And he delivered to a company named Rocket Pictures a video of an interview with what we would call an alien, a non-human entity. This video he claimed to have smuggled out of Area 51 after his stint of work there. And he released it exclusively with only this one company, and his identity remained completely hidden the entire interview. It was an amazing testimony and an amazing video, and it absolutely changed the face of disclosure at that time in 1997. He also did an interview at that time with Art Bell on Coast to Coast AM. But then he was not seen again. He was not seen anywhere. He made no appearance anywhere else for 10 years. And then finally in 2007, he did another interview. And that's now the last time anyone's heard from this guy. So listen to this final interview that Victor did and the things he says about exactly the topic that we've been discussing.
Two of you, two cameras. I was under the impression that it would only be you and your camera.
All right, Victor, duly noted. But you did come to us and request this interview.
Yes.
And you did request money, which you've been paid.
Yes.
Per your insistence, it was just to be me. Yes. And I'm not a professional cameraman, so I did bring along a second cameraman to shoot some additional footage so we have something to cut to. Okay, on B camera?
B camera set.
Okay, here we go. So, Victor, here we are.
Well, I must say that I never expected to hear myself called Victor again, or to find myself in disguise in front of a camera again.
It's now been 11 years since we last conducted that interview.
Yes, the Art Bell interview you arranged for me.
In May 1997.
As the interview progressed, I began to get a different sense, and that was that he was scared. I think Victor really is scared.
It's been 11 years since I brought out that tape. What follow-up has there been? Who among these so-called ufologists, these self-proclaimed investigators, show me one of them that's demanded information about S4 under the Freedom of Information Act. Show me one of them that has seriously attempted to confirm or deny the existence of the alien interview program.
How do you respond about rumors in the UFO community that Cheney and Rumsfeld have known about the EBEs since the Nixon administration?
Well, certainly Cheney knows everything there is to know within the government. There's not much that is kept secret from the general public that Cheney does not know. As for Rumsfeld, Rumsfeld is a bombastic clown, but he has certainly shown quite a bit of interest in new technologies, shall we say.
Do you think that President Bush has been kept up to date on our ET program, or that Cheney has kept all the information from him?
President Bush, now there is a puppet. There is your artificial marionette. And no one seems to be able to identify him as an artificial president. Why should they be able to recognize a real alien when they see one? President Bush is irrelevant to the process of government, and certainly irrelevant to the decision-making that goes on from the vice president's office.
What are your thoughts about 9/11?
I'm not going to talk about 9/11.
You're not going to talk about 9/11?
9/11 is like the Bermuda Triangle. 9/11 is not part of this story. Shall we say that?
Are the EBEs, in your opinion, with your knowledge, are they still at the base in Utah?
The EBEs, to my knowledge, are all, at this time, deceased, if you want to call it that. Before we go any further, I just want to say to you, not to your viewers, but to you, and to that rocket person, that this will be the last time you ever see me. This will be my last statement, bar none. And this time I can say that with conviction, because it seems that this container has reached its expiration date. I am apparently not long for this world. So, this will be my final testament. As I intimated on the Art Bell interview, my involvement with S4 and the Alien Interview Program did come to an end in 1997, and I have not been involved with the Black Ops program for more than a decade. However, I have been in contact with certain individuals who are still involved in attempting to make sense of the information that was gathered before the aliens discorporated. And I'm here to tell you, gentlemen, that if I am not long for this world, you are not much longer. As the Bible thumpers say, the end times are upon us.
The end of the world?
The end of the world. We have been tested and found wanting. The aliens came, they presented themselves to humanity. They were taken and held and questioned and allowed to die. And now the reckoning is at hand. Let me give a task to these so-called investigators, these ufologists. Look into the record and attempt to determine where Donald Rumsfeld was on March 23rd of this year.
What is the significance of this Rumsfeld date that you keep referring to?
Donald Rumsfeld has been aware of the alien interviews at least since 1974, in the last days of the Nixon cabal, and even when he was out of government, he managed to keep his hand in. But it was not until the bogus telepath program was finally exposed within the secret Black Ops operation that the true translation, that the true meaning of the alien communication was made clear to him. And since then, I think you will find he has lost all interest in the United States and trivial earthly power. His sole interest now is to find a way to be one of those who are taken off when the end comes.
So what you're saying is the biblical end times are upon us?
Donald Rumsfeld is merely one of the last of the line of those who try to maintain personal control over information that should have been made public to the entire human race. And now that he understands exactly what it is these aliens have been trying to tell us, he has completely lost interest in the rest of humanity. His sole concern is to be one of the few, one of the what he considers to be the elite, the elect specimens, if you will, the elect specimens who are taken off the earth before the final trumpet sounds.
Well, I have to tell you, this sounds an awful lot like Armageddon.
In point of fact, the date is very close, but not 2012. Not 2012. Not within my lifetime that's left of it. and certainly within yours. Let's just say that I wouldn't plan a 20th anniversary edition of this documentary. My head is a beehive.
You're not really saying, well, I...
Après-moi le déluge. Le déluge solaire. I won't be here for it, but you gentlemen will. Was it Seneca? I think it was... No, it was Strato who said, "When I am gone, let earth and fire mix. It will mean naught to me."
Now, please realize that Victor, of course, did work in the military-industrial complex in these very dark black projects. So the compartmentalization of those areas of research and discovery are so tight. You need to understand that even someone like Victor, who comes out with so much information, their view, even while they're in those black programs, is so limited because of the compartmentalization of that information. It is all on a need-to-know basis. And he obviously needed to know things that had to do with this creature that was in the alien interview, and some of this information he was exposed to from other people in his circle. He's, of course, taking that information at face value and reporting it. So just be aware there can be error, there can be mistakes, and there can be problems with this testimony. However, in the light of everything we've seen, this seems to square up perfectly with it and give us more information about this end of the world scenario, this time when fire would pour down on the earth, a time where the elite are hoping they can be a part of some possibility of getting off the planet, this time that seems to correlate in some way with biblical prophecy. But again, we have to give this man Victor credit for giving the community some of the most profound information and testimony that has ever been heard. But also one that is for some reason not so well known. And of course, we can understand why. The powers that be would want to suppress this information. They seem to have tried their best to suppress this story above all others, even above the nature of these beings, these spiritual beings that people have been interacting with over the past decades. This seems to be the one thing that they don't want you to know about.